welcome to my channel. My name is Jenna and I'm Empress of Horror. So the film I'm going to be talking about today is The Ritual. This film was released in 2017 and it was directed by David Bruckner. This film was starring Rafe Spall, Rob James Collier, Asher Ali and Sam Troughton. And it scored a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. This film follows a group of men who are planning to go on a boys' holiday abroad. They end up going hiking along a trail between Norway and Sweden called the King's Trail in the mountains. Along the way, one of the men falls and injures his knee, which causes them to have to take a shortcut through the woods. And if you know anything about horror movies, you know that this is not a good idea. As night approaches, they find a spooky cabin and decide to stay overnight. However, this cabin is giving off serious bad vibes, and after staying there, things start to get very spooky and very weird. I saw this film for the first time today and I enjoyed it so much that I decided to just get my stuff out and make a review video about it. This film gives off heavy Blair Witch vibes, so if you like movies about people lost in the woods and kind of spooky goings on, you will definitely enjoy this movie. I've kind of figured recently that that's one of my favourite types of horror, is people lost in the woods, being cut off from the world, the kind of paranoia that sets in, and being haunted or tormented by some sort of either ghosts or paranormal being or even cults. I love cults too. The ending of this film, some people were torn after watching some review videos and reading about this film. Quite a lot of people seem to not like the ending. There are people on the other side who love it and I'm on that side. I think the ending was great, but some people just didn't get it. I think this film takes kind of your classic Lost in the Woods horror movie to a different level. It's got some new and interesting themes and it's super intense and really entertaining. I also think with it being a British horror as well, it just kind of gives it a different tone. American horror movies, I sometimes feel can be a little bit over the top acting wise. I mean, I still love American horror movies, so I'm not saying anything bad about them. But British movies and television are just a completely different vibe and a different style to American. And I just really enjoyed the dynamic between the characters and their sort of sarcastic jokes and dry humour. So I'm now going to jump into the spoiler section of this movie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want me to ruin it for you, go watch it and then come back. One of the things I loved about this movie and I thought was done really well was the dynamic of the friends in the film. The four men going on the hike, you really believe that they were long-term friends who'd been to uni together and grown up together. All of the actors just seem to have really good chemistry and their banter within the movie, it all really worked so well. They were able to show the relationship between these characters purely through the dialogue and the way they interacted with one another. They did a really good job of convincing you that they were close friends. So I don't actually think this was filmed in Sweden or Norway. However, the forest that this was filmed in is beautiful nonetheless. The scenic shots we get in this film are beautiful and really breathtaking. So if you like visuals in a film, you'll really love the visuals in this one because it's really stunning. We get some really beautiful landscapes and some really gorgeous panning over the forest shots. The cinematography and camera work in this film as well are really excellent. They're very stylized and you can tell they've been very well thought out. We get lots of excellent tracking shots, following behind the boys while they're on the trail or alongside them, which does a really good job of immersing you in this film and making you believe that you're there with them. There's also a really subtle zoom shot that they do whenever someone is having a realization of something, or when someone is listening out for noises. The camera just kind of very, very slowly and subtly zooms in and it just creates a really eerie, unsettling tension. They also use this slow zoom for scenes when they're looking in the forest. They've heard noises and they know that something's out there. And it's so tense because you're literally just watching, waiting for something to jump out, and it never happens, which is something I love. There's really not very many jump scares in this film. They manage to scare you without having to dip into the bag of cheap tricks. I also really love the cabin that they find. It is one of the most terrifying things you'll ever see. I mean, why they decided to go in there and sleep through the night is beyond me. Especially when they found loads of weird pagan symbols carved into trees along the way. I mean, that is just screams hell no to me, but yeah, of course they go in and stay the night. There's a creepy wooden sculpture up in the attic and it looks like it's headless. It's just so creepy and I really love things like that. I also really love the way that they portrayed all of the fear in all of the men. Usually in horror films, when men get scared, they scream a little bit and then they pick up an axe and go chase the guy. You don't usually see fear in males to the point where they're wetting themselves and crying in a corner because that's how terrified they are. I just love that this film wasn't scared to go to that level and portray their male characters in that way. I think it was a really real and authentic reaction. It's probably more authentic than the reactions you see of men in other horror movies. And from the point that they leave the cabin, the tension and the fear just escalates in this movie, and I love it. I also thought the score in this movie was really good and really well done. We had kind of really eerie violins, and there was this sort of constant beat of a drum that kind of sounded like a heartbeat, and it got really subtly faster and faster, which worked so well to like build your tension and your anxiety when you were watching some really tense scenes. I felt it really added to all of the scary scenes in this movie and helped just kind of elevate the level of fear. Personally, I really enjoyed the ending of this film. I know a lot of people thought it was a bit weird and they didn't think it fitted with the film, but I thought it was really good. It was quite different and I liked the direction that they took it in. This strange village of people out in the middle of nowhere in this forest, and they're worshipping this demon, deity, creature, and they offer up bodies of travellers who come through the forest in order to appease it so that it doesn't kill them. I just really like that. I really like the idea of weird creatures. I also love that we didn't see the creature until the very end. I think a lot of horror films nowadays show you too much and they give it away too early, and so to the point that you've seen the monster so many times that you're not scared of it by the end, whereas we don't see this monster's face until literally the last 5 minutes of the film. And it is so creepy. I was getting some Guillermo del Toro vibes because it's just so strange. It's such a strange creature. There wasn't really much I didn't like in this film. I thought it was all really well done. I saw from reviews some people thought this film was a bit too slow paced and it was a bit of a slow burn. Personally, I disagree with that. I think the horror elements in this film are really great. I think it's paced really well and we get a lot of really good scares, timed very well throughout. If you're comparing it to something like the Blair Witch Project, which is quite similar to, it definitely has a lot more scares in it than the Blair Witch Project. It has a lot more kind of genuinely scary content as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. The type of horror that it is right up my street, and actually, to be honest, just reading about it, when someone compared it to the Blair Witch, I was like, I'm probably gonna like this, and I did. So much so that I got all my stuff out and decided to make a review right now, so yeah. So I'm gonna rate this film a 9 out of 10. I think it was really well done. I loved the acting, I loved the concept, and yeah, the rewatchability of this film is great. I'm definitely going to watch it again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I also hope you enjoyed my Franchise Friday video that came out yesterday. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it now. I'm talking about the Saw films. And I'm also going to be doing something a little bit different for my video upload next week. Next month is June, which is Pride Month. So I thought I'd do a little video listing off some of my top queer horror movies to watch this Pride Month. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!